I would like to call the November 15th, 2023 meeting of the City of Avondale Planning Commission to order. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Agundes Castillo.
Present.
Commissioner Warren.
Present.
Commissioner Osborne. Present. Vice Chair White.
Present.
Commissioner McGinnis and Stanfield and Chair Thompson have an excused absence for tonight.
Thank you. Has everyone reviewed the minutes of the October 18th, 2023 meeting, and are there any corrections? At this time, the chair would entertain a motion. And a second. The motion is approved.
Commissioner Osborne. Thank you.
Now the motion is approved. We are ready for public hearing items 4A, McDowell Villas PAD rezone PL 22-0230. Staff, may I have the report for item 4A?
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commission members. The item before you this evening is the McDowell Villas planned area development. This is PL 220230. The purpose of tonight's item is to review the proposed rezone and motion for this planned area development and to discuss any deviations or development plans. This property is located near west of the northwest intersection of McDowell Road and Avondale Boulevard and is approximately 12.34 acres and is currently agricultural property. The property includes a 30-foot wide USA fee land that runs the length of the property along the southern border on the north side of McDowell Road. This is property that is actually owned by the federal government for use of their own improvements, whether it be utilities or any other type of improvements that they feel necessary. As you can see in these slides, the general plan land use is mixed use, and the current zoning is agricultural. This is part of a larger mixed use area that extends down into the Avondale Commons project to the south, Avondale Commons project to the west, or east. I'm sorry. This is looking along McDowell Road to the east. You can see Avondale Commons in the background there, currently under construction. And then looking west along McDowell Road, that is the storage center located just to the west there. And then this is the subject property. It's currently an agricultural field with a substation to the immediate north. This is the site plan that was submitted as part of the application. This is 164 units of a townhome development, providing two-story townhomes to the residents there, with primary and secondary access along McDowell Road. As part of the stipulations, the improvements that are going to be made along McDowell Road include a raised median for the eastern access to allow for right-in, right-out traffic flow at that intersection. This development is going to be approximately 13.29 dwelling units per acre. And as you can see here, these are the highlighted deviations and mitigations that the applicants proposed. Part of the project will be to have a connected open space element with sidewalks and open space running between all the individual units, as well as the standard amenities that come along with a single-family attached subdivision such as this one. Part of the deviations that I wanted to highlight were the setbacks from the southern property lines. Those were taken from the edge of the USA fee land, since that is a separate parcel and not a normal right-of-way. Building coverage has been reduced over the entire site from 50% to 40%, and then the landscape buffer has actually been increased from 25 to 30 feet. And that would actually be from McDowell Road. And then, as you can see there, all front setback deviations were from that USA fee land. These were the elevations that were submitted as part of the project. Townhome units will be clustered into 3, 4, 5, and 6 unit buildings. Each unit will provide a 2-car garage, and the elevations provided show a more of a modern townhome style that we're not really used to seeing out in this part of the city. Staff's analysis of the project is that it's in conformance with the general plan land use designation and the single and multifamily residential design manuals. This will result in compatible land use relationships with the adjacent residential developments, providing a transition from the multifamily in Avondale Commons to the single family properties located to the west. There was a neighborhood meeting held virtually online on June 13th of this year. There were no attendees, and there have been no public comments made at this time. That being said, the recommendation from staff is that there be a motion to approve application 22-0230, which is a request to rezone the property from agricultural to McDowell Villas Plan Area Development, and to allow for the development of a 164-unit townhome subdivision subject to the 6 conditions of approval as listed in the staff report. And I do believe I failed to mention this will be, per the applicant and their narrative that was submitted, a for-rent subdivision at first, and then the goal eventually is to offer these townhomes for sale. And I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions for staff from the commission?
I do have a question. How much parking is going to be available besides the 2-car garage?
Chair, Vice Chair, and Councilmember Warren, the site plan that was provided highlights some of the parking that's on there. The calculations that were done were for a single-family subdivision because this is technically a single-family product. So there's some that's provided across the street here and then clustered throughout the development. I can get exact numbers for you, though. That might just take a little bit of research.
It just doesn't look like there's much in the way of visitor parking or parking for additional cars that families may have.
Let me see if I can pull that information up for you.
Thank you.
The applicant's also present. They said 69 spaces.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
I do have one quick question. So for the garages and the units, are they going to be compatible to charge EV vehicles in case these owners have any?
So the normal procedure for that is to provide outlets within those garages. As far as the specific design details, I believe that's spelled out in the narrative, and I can find that information for you, unless the applicant has additional information right now.
Yes, and we'll invite him to speak here shortly. But I have a couple questions for staff. I read in the packet we received that these all have individual water meters. Does that mean that they will be using Avondale trash and recycling bins then? Or will it have more large dumpster type apartment complex trash?
So as part of the site plan that was provided, there is trash enclosures. I can get with Public Works, though, to find out if there's any additional information. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Commissioner Warren, do you have any questions for staff? Or Osborne, I'm sorry. Commissioner Osborne? Oh, okay, thank you. Would the applicant like to address the commission?
He would not. Everything you need to know has been presented.
Thank you, sir.
Trust my brevity will be rewarded.
Does any commissioners have any questions for the applicant?
I do. Do you know about the EV charging? Is that going to be available in the garages, or what is available?
And please state your name for the record.
This is Kurt Waldier with Buse Gilbert, and there will be the capability to install EV chargers in the garages.
So you just will have the right outlet, but to have it, the rest of it installed.
Right, the conduit will be there. We'll comply with the, I believe it's a 10% requirement that we'll be complying with.
Okay.
And we'll provide the chargers as needed, depending on who occupies the units.
So that would be like an option people could buy as like an add-on?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to now open the public hearing for this item. Are there any requests to speak?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We have not received any requests to speak. If there is anyone within the audience who would like to speak, you may proceed to the podium.
And seeing none, I will now close the public hearing for this item. Is there anything more the applicant would like to respond to? Thank you, sir. The commissioners have any other questions for the applicant or the staff?
Not at this time.
The chair would now entertain a motion on this item.
Commissioner Castillo, motion to recommend approval of application DL-20230 McDowellville as planned area development. To allow the development of 164-unit townhome subdivision subject to 6 recommended conditions of approval as listed in the staff report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Agunas Castillo and a second by Commissioner Warren. Please vote. Commissioner Osborne?
Well, we went back.
One moment, please.
Okay, can you two vote again, please? Excellent. The motion passes 4-0. Staff, may I have the report for items 4B and I assume 4C at the same time?
I'm just trying to get it in the right view here. This is not, I'm used to seeing it. Let me make sure the other one's closed as well. All right, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Tonight I'm presenting items 4B and 4C, Ashley Furniture Minor General Plan Amendment and Rezone, applications PL 23-0140 and 0141. The purpose of these items are to review a proposed minor general plan amendment and rezone for Ashley Furniture, conduct separate public hearings for each item, and forward a recommendation to the City Council on each item. So, taking a look at the site outlined in red, it is located at the northwest corner of 107th Avenue and Roosevelt Street. It's about 75 gross acres, and it was annexed into the city limits in 1986, and it is currently being used for farming. So, in terms of the surrounding zoning districts and land uses, north of the I-10 freeway, from west to east, we have vacant land zone C2. We have a rehabilitation hospital zoned freeway commercial C3, a couple medical office buildings zoned PAD, and a site with future commercial uses zoned both C3 and PAD. And then east of 107th Avenue, there's vehicle dealerships zoned the Avondale Auto Mall PAD. South of Roosevelt Street is the Roosevelt Park PAD. There's single family homes being constructed, as well as vacant land zoned PAD, as well as a new multifamily community zoned the Boulevard. And then west of the project is some vacant land zoned Avondale Gateway PAD. So here's a couple photos of the site. The first is looking southeast from the I-10 freeway, and the second is looking northwest from 107th Avenue. So the first request is for a minor general plan amendment. So currently there are 3 general plan designations for the property. There's high intensity office, mixed use, and freeway commercial. And then the bottom map shows the proposed land use designations of business park in the purple and then freeway commercial in red. So business park is intended to allow large-scale campus development that provides abundant employment opportunities, and this also does include light manufacturing and corporate commerce uses. And then for the freeway commercial, that is a land use category to accommodate the more intense uses of the freeways in Avondale, and it does provide for concentrated retail, hospitality, and related activity along these corridors. The second request is to rezone the site from the Avondale Gateway PAD to the Ashley Furniture PAD. The project will consist of construction of 2 buildings. The first building will be approximately 551,039 square feet. It includes retail, a call center, warehousing and distribution, and office uses. And then the second building will be the same size and will just include manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, and office uses. And then 2 vacant pads will remain for commercial uses. So for the Ashley Furniture component of the project, the applicant is requesting a list of custom uses. This does include a call center, office, light manufacturing and assembly, retail sales, warehousing and distribution. And then for the vacant pads, the applicant is requesting the C3 freeway commercial uses. So, and then in terms of the development standards for the Ashley Furniture component, the applicant is requesting the Commerce Park CP standards with a few deviations. So this includes reducing the minimum rear building yard setback, which is the west setback in this case, from 15 feet to 10 feet to accommodate a security building. They're proposing a 0-foot internal building setback in case the project remains as 2 parcels. And then lastly, they are requesting to increase the parking that's permitted for this site So they're requesting to increase parking by 388 parking spaces. So they took into consideration other large furniture stores and warehouses, as well as taking into the consideration the number of employees. And then for the vacant pads, they're requesting the C3 freeway commercial standards. Now I will walk you through the site plan. So let me just find my pointer here. This is building 1. It does include a retail showroom right here, a second floor call center, warehousing, distribution, and office uses. This is building 2. It includes manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, and office uses. And then this area here is truck parking. This is truck parking, as well as here. We do have dock doors on the west and the east sides of both buildings. And then this is the customer pickup area. And then in terms of the site improvements, the developer will be required to construct a raised median on 107th Avenue from Dealer Drive to Roosevelt Street. They will also be required to construct a traffic signal at 107th and Roosevelt. There will be 2 driveways on 107th Avenue that will be right in, right out only. The northern driveway will have a deceleration lane, and there will also be a right turn lane on 107th Avenue. On Roosevelt Street, there will be 4 driveways, most of which are designed for to prevent right outs and left ins. And we do have a stipulation of approval listed in the staff report that the developer acknowledges that Roosevelt Street serves as a residential collector west of 111th Avenue, which is located here, and shall inform its delivery vendors, customers, and contractors that semi-tractor trailers and heavy trucks should enter its property on Roosevelt Street from 107th Avenue and shall not use Roosevelt Street west of 111th Avenue to enter and exit its property. And then there will also be several deceleration lanes on Roosevelt Street as well. So here's a couple renderings of the project. The first is from the I-10 freeway looking southwest, and the second is from Roosevelt Street looking northwest. And then this exhibit highlights the landscaping that will act as a buffer to help screen the truck parking areas. So this is a perspective from Roosevelt Street and 111th Avenue looking northeast, and the landscape setback along Roosevelt will be in excess of 80 feet wide. Now I will highlight the walls that will buffer and screen the project. So in yellow, those are the 3.5-foot tall screen walls for the parking along Roosevelt and 107th Avenue. The blue areas are 8-foot high concrete tilt-up screen walls to help buffer and screen the parking areas. The red are 8-foot wrought iron fences, and then lastly in green there are a couple 8-foot high steel gates. So in terms of the analysis for both requests, it will result in development that's compatible with and complementary to the existing uses that in the area, which does include other business parks, warehouses, and car dealerships, and it does provide an adequate buffer to the single-family residential to the south. The project will meet the Commerce Park CP standards with the requested deviations, as well as the C3 standards for the freeway commercial portion. There are few alternative business park sites to accommodate this development in Avondale, and the site's proximity to the freeway is ideal for the use. The rezoning does meet all of the findings as listed in the staff report. And lastly, the project is consistent with goals in the general plan and freeway corridor specific plan. So that includes prioritizing the city's appearance from the I-10 freeway, as well as growing and diversifying Avondale's economy and employment base. The neighborhood meeting was held on February 21st on Zoom. We had no attendees aside from the applicant's team, city staff, and 2 council members. We did receive 1 comment on the city's Avondale Connect platform that was not in support of the use and recommended more grocery stores or food choices. And then we did receive 1 public comment from a representative of the neighboring property to the southwest. That was the Village at the Boulevard project. They had some suggestions for buffering and screening of the project, as well as some concerns with truck traffic heading west on Roosevelt Street towards Avondale Boulevard. Those concerns with truck traffic were addressed during a meeting that we did have with the representative, the city staff, and the developer. So with that, staff recommends approval of application PL 22-0140, a request for a minor amendment to the General Plan 2030 land use map, changing the land use designation of the subject property from freeway commercial, high-intensity office, and mixed use to business park. And the second is staff recommends approval of application PL 22-0141, Ashley Furniture, a request to rezone approximately 75.7 gross acres of land located at the northwest corner of Roosevelt Street and 107th Avenue from the Avondale Gateway Planned Area Development PAD to the Ashley Furniture PAD, subject to the 8 conditions as listed in the staff report. And I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions for staff?
I have a couple of questions. So the first question that I have is, does this property fall under what would be considered the boulevard?
Thank you, Vice Chair and Commissioner Castillo. This property is not in the Boulevard zoning district. It is, and it's not part of the Boulevard specific plan. It's its own planned area development.
And then my next question is, and just to clarify, so one building is going to be built that's going to be used by Ashley Furniture, and then the second building that they're going to build right now is currently vacant, or there's no interest in using it?
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioner Castillo. There's just a single user for the whole project, so Ashley is going to be using both buildings.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then the other question I had was, I saw there were retail PADs, so are they going to be constructing additional buildings in that area as well, just to make sure or to clarify?
There are no plans submitted at this time, but they have carved out 2 retail pads.
Oh, okay. And those are the questions for me.
Thank you.
I have one, and if you could leave this here, where will the trucks be coming in and out of to actually get to the freeway?
Thank you, Chair.
The large trucks, that is.
Chair and Commissioner Warren. So the truck traffic and truck entrances are on Roosevelt Street. So this middle access point will most likely be the main access, but trucks would be able to access all of the driveways on Roosevelt.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to address the commission? And please state your name for the record.
Yes, Tony Adam Baugh with the Morris Baugh, 2525 East Arizona, Biltmore Circle. I fortunately don't have the luxury of Paul Gilbert to be brief. I get paid by the hour, and I need to make some gas money to get home. I'm excited to finally be at this point. This is a project that's more than 2 years in the making. And the opportunity to bring in Ashley's, and not just the furniture store, but office component, a manufacturing component, and then the distribution component, and consolidate all 4 of those into one is something truly special that hasn't really been done before. But we know the economic opportunities from this are tremendous. will create 500 plus jobs, represents a $100 million investment, and $40 million of annual revenues. So this is a huge benefit for the city of Avondale. And one of the reasons why it's located at this freeway off-ramp, because we hope it attracts a lot of people from the West Valley to come and spend their dollars in Avondale. To get to this point has taken a lot of effort with staff and coaching. And because of their effort, we've been able to work on a number of conditions where this plan today is very different from where we started. One singular building at the beginning and now broken up, massing changed, setbacks increased, screening enhanced, and most important, I think to your point, Alan, to prevent traffic and trucks heading westbound, we've even angled our curb cut medians exiting the driveway points, so they force you to turn left for the vehicles that are larger trucks. As a result, I think you preserve the integrity of the boulevard, so it's more for its intended purpose, while also creating tremendous job revenue, sales tax revenue, and an asset for Avondale. Happy to answer any questions you may have, but I think staff has done a tremendous job, and I look forward to taking this to council soon.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for the applicant?
I have no questions, but I think this is a great project with a lot of economic opportunities for Avondale.
Thank you.
Commissioner Osborne, do you have anything?
No questions from me.
Thank you. I would like to now open, I have to do two separate public hearings, correct?
First public hearing on the minor general plan, and then after that, once done, you can immediately proceed to the second public hearing on the zoning case.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to open the public hearing for the item 4B, PL 220140. Are there any requests to speak, clerk?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We have not received any requests to speak. If there is anyone within the audience who would like to speak, you may proceed to the podium.
Hearing and seeing none, I will now close the public hearing on this item. Any further questions or discussion? The chair would now entertain a motion on this item.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the Ashley Furniture Minor General Plan Amendment, application PL 21-0140. That's it. Oh, it's a request for a minor amendment to the general plan land use map, changing the land use designation of the subject property from freeway commercial, high-density office, and mixed use to business park.
And we need a second.
Commissioner Osborne, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Osborne. And vote, please.
Commissioner Osborne?
Aye.
The motion passes 3-1. I would now like to open the public hearing for item 4C, application PL 22-0141. Do we have any requests to speak?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We do not have any requests to speak. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to speak, you may proceed to the podium.
Seeing and hearing none, I close the public hearing for this item. I would now entertain a motion for item 4C.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of application PL 21-0141 to request to rezone approximately 75.7 gross acres of land located northwest corner of Roosevelt and 107th Avenue from the Avondale Gateway Center Planned Area Development, PAD, to Ashley Furniture, PAD, subject to 8 conditions as listed in the staff report.
Commissioner Osborne, I second.
Second by Commissioner Osborne, and please vote.
Commissioner Osborne,
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Staff, may I have the report for item 4D?
Request to speak for this item.
Good evening, Chairman White and Commissioners Warren and Castillo. Before you this evening will be a presentation same as you recently had heard at the last Planning Commission meeting a few weeks ago. I'll make it a little bit more brief. That'll enable any additional comments that you might have following the discussion on this item. And I'd like to also indicate that the staff report was prepared in a way to more easily indicate the 7 key items where there's more of a land use change that we're discussing tonight to kind of help you as we go through this presentation. So the item before you is the City of Avondale's General Plan 2030 update, which is being processed as a major general plan amendment application. This process has been underway since September, and we're nearing the finish line. We will be taking this to City Council on December 4th. As this slide is showing that we had done a lot of engagement with meetings, stakeholder committee meetings, technical advisory committee meetings with city staff and departments, going forward to work sessions with commission and council. We've also had separate commission work sessions and council work sessions, and created a final draft with our consultant, Michael Baker International. Brought that forward to commission just recently, and here we are tonight for the actual first public hearing. What is the General Plan 2038 update, and why are we bringing this forth to you? The General Plan was adopted back in 2012. There's a lot of items in that plan that needed to be revised. We did a readoption of this plan just a few years ago and incorporated a lot of minor and major general plan amendments to land uses over a period of years. What we also recognized was that the plan had a lot of outdated references. While the city has moved forward with growth and development, parks and recreation, facilities, public schools have come into the community. A lot of those land uses, projects, and data and mapping really need to get updated and cleaned up in this document. And that's what we put a lot of our efforts in, but we also did receive a lot of feedback and communication and updated a lot of the text and the language as well. So over the course of this project, there was a lot of outreach. We did our 60-day review in accordance with the Arizona Revised State Statutes for major general plan amendments. That was a period between July and September. We did receive about 86 unique comments. A lot of them were either from some residents or they were from a lot of the agencies that were obligated to notice, and they provided us some valuable feedback that helped us update references to their areas around us or facilities that they own, as well as any of our maps. We also posted it on Avondale Connect, which is a great website that the city has. It allows us to post a lot of project information going on in the city of Avondale, and this project was able to be followed through our general plan update process through that venue. You've seen this before, so I'll be really brief on this one as well. The general plan has a lot of elements and themes that are required to be a part of it, and then there's elective elements. We have all of this in our general plan, which is why it's a little bit larger maybe than some other communities. They're all equally as important, and we had looked at each of them and determined what are major things that just needed to get updated for referential purposes as we move forward as a city, referring to this plan as well as our customers referring to it. An overview of the updates. As some examples, terminology. Phoenix Raceway used to be called PIR, Phoenix International, so we needed to clean that up. The Boulevard is a new specific plan that got adopted in 2019, which needed to be incorporated into this plan. Old Town Avondale also has a new specific area plan that got adopted that is being referenced in this new plan. We no longer have transit-oriented development in the community. No light rail is coming, so that desire back from 2012 was removed. So that just kind of shows you just some examples of things that we were focusing on. Obviously, dates, data sets, maps, plans, and terminology needed to be revised as well. I'm going to go through each of these themes. I won't read everything on the slide, but certainly just highlight a few things. The land use element, the major changes, you'll notice the map, which we'll get to, where there's some new items that are shown on there, as well as some proposed changes. Through this, we've looked at some of the language in there and revised that, as well as revised the layout of some of the land use categories and the densities. They were out of order from a former major general plan amendment we did south of the Estrella Mountains, because it had a new category added down there. So we needed to modify that and just revise a little bit of the goals and policies as we move forward as a city growing. Excuse me. This is the map that is currently in the plan. What we did was remove the urban residential land use category. We don't have anything that was developing with that category. The one site that had that land use wind up doing an amendment through Commission and Council to downgrade that to high-density residential, so that eliminated that category. So that was an obvious find to remove that from the map. We added the medium-low density residential, which is south of the Estrella Mountains. We've refined some of the non-residential land uses along the State Route 30 freeway corridor alignment, just along the Southern Avenue Street. And we reflected some recently approved council amendments that happened since the readoption in 2022 to current. So we've got those added in here as well. This is a map just showing you we now have a second page to our land use. This is the area south of the Estrella Mountain Range. And this was something that went to Commission and Council that approved land use categories to kind of further plan this area in the future with growth and development. These two maps we went over in quite detail at our last meeting. The map on the left of the screen is property in which we're showing land uses that are existing right now today. And the map on the right is showing land uses that the city is proposing to make modifications to. We went over these and I've highlighted them. There's 7 key ones that are in the staff report that is part of the agenda packet. Also, you'll see a lot of school sites as baby blue education, public and civic sites, which are a darker blue, and those are city facilities such as the Aquatic Center, the new Fire Station 175, are just examples of some of those sites that we've needed to add to the map because they are now a part of our community. Some of the key areas that we had discussions about at the last meeting were in the southern part of the community, south of Lower Buckeye Road. We did some updates to the Las Ligas neighborhood, which is, let me try to get the laser pointer here. So the Las Ligas neighborhood here in orange, yellow, that neighborhood has an R16 zoning designation. It's been that way for tens of years, but the land use category wasn't close to what the zoning is for the majority of the lots that are already built in that neighborhood. It's generally a built-out community. There are some vacant lots that are privately owned by property owners where their families have owned them for years and years. And then there's some privately held property along El Mirage where we've had inquiries for some private development to occur on it as well. So we are going to align our map. It's not a rural low-density neighborhood. They're not acre properties. They're not large lot. So we need to get it consistent with the legally adopted zoning on that property, and so we're proposing the medium-density residential. We've cleaned up some land uses in the Alomar Master Plan community. There is a city park. There's a new elementary school. When the Broadway road alignment was modified, the local commercial land use actually goes north of Broadway Road now. It wasn't correctly shown on the prior maps. So we fixed that. And there were also council approvals for land uses with Alomar's amendments over the last few years for residential density of medium density, and we made sure those were correct on the map, and we worked with that developer to make sure we had the accurate information. There is property on the east side of Avondale Boulevard, north and south of Broadway Road, currently designated as medium density residential. correct myself, currently designated with high-density residential. The city is recommending a medium-density residential land use for those properties. The white areas are not being proposed for change, and those white areas are currently pink, local commercial. So we would have medium-density residential land uses that would wrap around future commercial, possibly a shopping center or other commercial, retail, restaurant, and office uses at that intersection. And then on the west side of Avondale Boulevard, if you go south of Broadway Road, there are 2 parcels right here that are nearly 80 acres. They are currently on the map on the left planned for mixed use. Mixed use is categorized in the general plan is to have a mixed use development that has a proportionate share of commercial uses, retail, restaurant, office, as well as residential densities, which could include medium to high density residential uses. The northeast corner of this freeway intersection, the southeast corner, and the southwest corner are currently on the general plan map for a freeway commercial. We are proposing on these properties to replace the mixed-use land use designation with medium-density residential on the northern parcel and medium-high-density residential on the southern parcel. And the reason for that proposal is to have residential uses only, which would be more in alignment with all the residential uses that are planned and developing in the Alabama Master Plan community to the west. It also offers other variety of housing opportunities in this part of our city where you might be able to get some starter homes and other types of housing varieties that we might not currently have with Alamar or even the Verde Trails community much further east. The property owner, the Gardner family, as indicated in the staff report, and their representative, Mr. Lake with Pugh and Lake Law Firm, is here tonight, and I believe he has a speaker card to further talk about that. At the last meeting, they had indicated a desire to have the southern property designated for freeway commercial. Staff is not opposed to that. If that's the purview of commission that they want to consider freeway commercial, that would allow freeway commercial on our 4 corners of that freeway intersection. But that would be something for you guys to consider. I know there's a desire to have the northern parcel at a higher residential density instead of medium density residential. All the land use in Alamar right now is medium density, so we feel just in alignment, it's backing right up to the use that's already currently there as you're going towards the frontage of Avondale Boulevard. Further down on the southern part of the Southern Avenue and SR 30 alignment, currently in the general plan to the left, you'll note that it has rural low-density residential and corporate park. And corporate park would allow employment uses, industrial-based uses. In order to maintain our Gila River corridor and the importance of an environmental and sustainable recreation tourism-oriented eco-environment, which is goals maintained in our general plan, it was important for the city to expand that Gila River scenic corridor. And so we have done that on the map here to the right. So we've expanded the Gila River Scenic District. We also were thoughtful to place some freeway commercial on the southern side of this freeway alignment to take advantage of having a little bit more commercial opportunity down in that part of our community off the freeway. With that, what I wanted to indicate was where my pointer is moving, there is an aggregate mining operation called Quinn Enterprises. And we're not proposing land use changes on their property with this process because they're currently rural low-density residential and they butt up against the Algafria River. However, in communications with that property owner, they're actually interested in having a little bit of freeway commercial along their frontage as well and asked if the city would be interested in considering that. Similar to what we did here, we aren't opposed to adding some freeway commercial along the freeway frontage to their property. There's a letter in the report, and I've summarized that and brought that up at our last meeting as well. We were not able to make changes to the land uses on these maps because we've already published this document to go through the public hearing process. Based on what commission decides on what they want to recommend for land use changes and what council ultimately approves, we can then make those changes following that process. But that's why it's not shown on the map, but we respectfully did address it and let you know that if that's the desire to add some freeway commercial on that northwest corner of Dysart and SR 30, certainly you can consider that as well. So those are the key changes that we're looking at with this map moving forward. This is a zoomed in, just I'll let you peek at it for just a moment, on everything north of Van Buren. You could just see where a lot of the school sites are baby blue, and some other changes we had made. For example, the southwest corner of 99th Avenue and Indian School, Commission and Council had already approved these land uses since the last readoption, so we needed to get those put into this map because those have already been approved uses. And this is a zoom in of the map on the southern part of our city, south of Buckeye Road, a little bit easier to see. And I can certainly go, once we have the floor for you to ask questions, I can go back to these maps. To further just explain as well where we at as a city when it comes to development, based on data from Maricopa Association of Governments, we were able to find information that is from 2022 in which the city has about housing stock of 76% of it is single-family residential detached housing, 20% of it is a form of multifamily housing, and 4% are mobile homes. Obviously that has increased because since 2022 we've had a lot of development going on, and we're just waiting for that new data to come out from Maricopa Association of Governments. In regards to how much land have we developed and where we're at from a build-out standpoint, while it looks large that we're built out and developed at 94%, that only includes land that is annexed into City of Avondale and zoned in City of Avondale. There's a lot of land still under Maricopa County's planning and development jurisdiction that has county zoning that has yet to come forward for annexation. There's a lot of opportunities along Southern Avenue in that southern part of the community that could be annexed and come in for future development. So that will certainly change the proportion that we have here. But overall, there's about 6% of the land vacant. That will still take quite a bit of time, some years out, before we see that develop. Depending on what really develops as well, west of our municipal boundary area in Goodyear, down the road, maybe there's opportunity if utilities come to that area to see that land south of the Estrella Mountains come to fruition. So there's opportunities for the future of Avondale as well for more development. In regards to economic development, just briefly, we updated the table that's in that plan. Growth comparison, sales tax revenue, that data gets updated quite frequently with our Finance and Budget Office. And we have updated it to make sure it's reflecting some of the current desires for growth and development by our Economic Development Office. The boulevard is another growth area, and we have added that to the map. It's this magenta pink color here. So when we're referring to this document, we'll actually have the boulevard indicated there now so everybody knows exactly where it's located. In terms of neighborhoods, the neighborhood theme, we've updated some language in that plan, in that section as well. We updated the current housing values and dwelling unit projections with data that we were able to see. That was one of the major changes for that particular section. Sustainable development, the city had adopted a new community sustainability plan over a year ago, so we incorporated that information as well to make sure that in relation to those goals and policies that were desired by the Sustainability Commission at the city, we have our new initiatives in this document. Open space theme, we have new parks. Alomar Park is a new one, Festival Fields. So we've done updates to other city parks as well. So we made sure, working with Park and Recreation Department, we included some of their new language and updates for this particular area of the plan. Community mobility is an update. A lot of new information got put in there because the city has WeRide, which is a new service. We don't have the Zoom. So making sure that we incorporate that. We've incorporated our active transportation element. That includes various modes, multimodal transportation in our community. It focuses on multi-purpose trails and being a very connected city with a trail system for recreation and activity. So there's a lot of great information that we're able to add to this document. This is a plan on the map that we changed for circulation and transit, so it reflects where our express bus routes are and where the WeRide area is, which actually now expands south of Lower Buckeye. So we made sure that we got the most current layer of activity for WeRide put into this plan and removed the previous Zoom routes that are no longer in service. Community facilities, there's a lot of city properties that I've mentioned. This one's a bit more of a simpler update, so we added that, but we also had to make reference to the city's new integrated utility master plan that got adopted. There's a lot of information regarding that and dealing with water. So in working with our departments, we've added that new language. Quality life, we've updated that a little bit to make some references to new art installations and community art that happens to be in our development, in our city. When developments are coming in, there's a lot of them that do have to have a public art component. So those have been added, and the city as well has had some other public art installations. In regards to the process, it does need to conform to the state statute for general plan amendments. It's State Statute 9-461.0. A lot of zoning and planning and development follows state laws that we refer to. This plan does mention the new law that got adopted by the state, where if a applicant is submitting a major general plan amendment, they just need to be at a public hearing, starting with Planning Commission within 12 months of when their proposal is made. Prior to that, we would do it once a year, and we need to get everybody on the same meeting, and that really wasn't a good service to our customers, and I think the state recognized that and changed it. So one applicant could be able to get in within 12 months and keep them on an appropriate timeline for their schedule. We've made those changes and reflected on page 15 of the document, but it came to my attention just yesterday that page 5 actually has some older language that got left in. I'm working with our consultants, and we will remove that statement in the final version upon City Council approval. So just wanted to put that on record so we're aware that change would happen. As far as next steps, upon Planning Commission doing a recommendation for approval this evening, your recommendations will be forwarded to our City Council. This is scheduled to go to the City Council on December 4th. Those reports are actually going to be completed by next week, so we'll be moving pretty quickly into that hearing. And this would be staff's recommendation for you this evening is to recommend approval of the application PL 23-260 based upon our recommendations outlined in the staff report. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for the staff?
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Osborne, do you have any questions?
No questions from me.
Would the applicant like to address the commission? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Chairman, I am the applicant. Yes,
Oh, the beauty of scripts to follow. Okay, then. I guess we can skip over that section. We do have to have a public hearing, though, correct? Okay. At this time, I would like to open the public meeting for agenda item 4D. And now I've lost my agenda.
Chairman, you'd be next asking if there's any members of the public, I believe. We do have some speaker cards with our clerk.
Yes, I have 2 requests to speak from the public. And let's start with Jessica Sarkisian.
Thank you so much. You got it completely accurate. Thank you. Jessica Sarkisian, Upfront Planning in Mesa, Arizona, representing the landowner of one of the properties in the Las Ligas area. It's a 10-acre vacant site, and it's on the west side of El Mirage Road in that area. And Las Ligas infill site does have a requirement, is the purpose of reinvigorating existing neighborhoods, including supporting new compact mixed-use development. We feel that this medium density category that is being proposed in that area actually does not encourage this, but prevents this from happening given the existing R16 zone. The owner has owned this 10-acre site for quite some time and has been working with staff on getting some property, some infill residential into that area. And so while working through that, as Jody had mentioned, the zoning code is several decades old. I even went back to try to find when that portion was adopted, and I went back as far as 1980, and I couldn't find when those setbacks were in place. And those setbacks were in place when a different time of property and development standards and housing product and things like that. And so The problem that we're having is that in order to develop in this R16 zone and having a 6,000 square foot lot, but having to amend the side yard setbacks or things like that, we would be required to go through a planned area development, as you saw in previous cases. And one of the requirements of a planned area development is to be compatible with the existing general plan. And an R16 is actually not compatible with the existing low density, and it would not be compatible with the proposed medium density. And that is because when you do the math, I don't do a math lesson here or anything, so I can ask questions after if you want to see it. But in R16 zone, when you take out, I tend to take out 20 to 25% of the property for parking, open space, retention, so you have the less of it that's actually developable. You get something closer to a 5.5 to sometimes 6 or 7 units to the acre. And currently, the proposed density in medium density has a target density of 2.5, which is not R16. It allows up to 4, but that is still not the basic, the least intense, which would be 5.5. And so our proposal is for asking you guys, just like Jody mentioned, you can make amendments to proposals to the land use map change, is that we already know, and staff already knows, that it's not compatible with the existing zone. The Las Ligas is already built out. They all have R16. They were previously built with different, lot types and stuff like that. But moving forward, the proposed medium density does not fit that R16 zone. So why put it in there when we have the opportunity now to fix it? Because as this is a cleanup, as mentioned, of other things that have happened. And so we would ask the commission to clean up that portion to medium high density residential, which allows more appropriately the density that we're looking for, which allows 4 to 12. And so we were just trying to get compatible so that we can develop in the site as R16 without having to then also do a general plan amendment, which we're doing right now, just trying to tie up that item right there. So we would either ask you we would prefer it just be uniform around Las Ligas, but for the 10-acre site that is currently vacant, that we're actually looking to move forward with, it would not meet the current proposed category. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
And we have also Sean Lake.
Do you want to put a PowerPoint in?
Go to the desktop.
Yeah. I don't know where. Oh, here.
Are they supposed to be using that laptop?
For city council, we do not allow for presentations, so
To be added, right. We'd have to download it.
it's up to the chair.
Will that, using that laptop though, display here?
No.
It would just be for you to see it.
So I'm not allowed to make a presentation with a PowerPoint?
That laptop is not connected to this at all.
Okay. How do I use my PowerPoint presentation?
Will the chair allow a PowerPoint to be shown?
Normally, I think we're limited to 3 minutes. Can you
Would
do
help me
that?
get through it quicker visually.
Okay, we'll bring it here.
Yes, go ahead.
Our computer is doing a malware scan, so
To be expected, I guess.
give us a moment.
That's a good thing, right?
And I'm assuming I do the space bar to move it forward?
No, you'll have to just tell me. That computer doesn't connect up to
Okay, sorry. Yes, there we go. Let's go forward again, and I'm going to move quick. Here we go. So, my name is Sean Lake, 1744 South Val Vista, here on behalf of the Gardner family. The Gardner family owns the property which is on Avondale and the 30. The 30, the state land is coming through, and they've acquired right-of-way, so it's going to happen. They've acquired and are acquiring right-of-way, but the freeway is not in yet. Avondale is a major north-south roadway. We are not here asking for any increase or decrease in the allowable density or development of this site. We're just asking to leave it alone. Let it stay according to the existing general plan. If we go to the next one. Staff is requesting a decrease, a significant decrease in what the general plan is today, to go to 4 units, which is a target of 2.5, and 12 units. The property owner objects to this change in the general plan for their property. Next slide. Our preference is just leave it to what the existing general plan is. Don't increase it, don't decrease it, just leave it as consistent with the existing general plan. Next slide. Let's go to the next slide, skip past that one. However, should this board or commission want to do something, we would be okay with something like a medium high on the top and that keep the mixed use on the south portion, split it up. A third, 2/3, or something to that effect. But we think it is imperative to be patient. Let's not determine the land use for a piece of property before the freeway goes in, before this area ripes or matures. Let's wait and see. We've got a patient property owner who's willing to be patient to see what's going to happen, in this area. Let's not cast the die for this site and just say, just go build a bunch of homes out there, even though it's on the major north-south and the major east-west. Let's not make that decision today. It might be the best land use, but that might be a decision we need to make in 3 years or 5 years. Let's be patient. Let's let the freeway come through. Let's have the roadways. Let's see what happens in this area, what happens in the market in 5 to 10 years, and then we can make that decision. Next slide. We don't think it meets all of the findings for this general plan amendment pertaining to this site. We support everything else that the staff wants to do everywhere else in the city. We support this general plan update, but we don't think it meets the findings for this particular site from the Gardner standpoint. We think the community needs to be more patient, needs to keep what's on the plan today, and then when the area is ripe and it's ready for development, we then can come to the community, to this board and the council, and make a determination about what is best for that area. So with that, we would ask your support of the general plan minus doing anything on the Gardner site. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't forget to get your thumb drive back. Any further discussions or questions for staff? I have one question for the staff. How often is this general plan readdressed? Is it like required by law to be redone every 5 years, 10 years, or just when we want to do it?
That's a great question, Chairman and Commissioners. The general plan under the state statute talks about having to readopt your existing plan that the community has or come up with a brand new plan, and which would be like an update every 10 years. A city could do it sooner than that, but generally the protocol is the 10-year time frame. So with this being a cleanup, I foresee the city proactively looking at what do we want to do. We have to look at a budget for doing a full brand new start to finish general plan from scratch. And so that is something we, in the future here, we'd be looking at. Following this going to City Council and them taking action on it, it would not be unusual that we will have further amendments being requested. Case in point tonight, Ashley Furniture, that would be going to City Council on December 18th. So if they were inclined to approve that, then their land use gets approved. The map would already have an inaccurate land use. So we track all that information, but that's just the nature of those types of applications that can come forward.
And regardless of what action we take or City Council approves, it doesn't preclude any landowner in the future to go through the minor or major general plan amendments to change from what might be adopted in this general plan.
Chairman and Commissioners, that's correct.
Are there any other questions or discussion?
I do have one question.
Mr. Vice Chair, I don't think you closed the public hearing.
Public hearing is now closed. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I do have a question, and this would be for, and I'm sorry, I missed your name on the one who's representing the Las Ligas neighborhood. Do you already have plans in place to develop the property should you get the change in zoning?
Through the chairman, Commissioner Warren, I could respond to that if you don't mind. We don't have any active applications in for that parcel of land. There have been inquiries, there had been initial pre-applications, but no formal request to do an amendment to the general plan or a rezoning. It's just in internal discussions we've had with the landowner who's owned it for several years, looking at what options they would be able to do for some form of residential housing on that property.
Thank you.
Anything else?
This is Commissioner Castillo. I just want to voice my support to approve the general plan as it is at the moment. And then, like we said before, it doesn't prohibit any developers from wanting to change the zoning further in the future. So I'm voicing my support to approve the general plan as it is.
Anything else? You have any comments, Commissioner Osborne?
No questions for me.
Okay. At this time, the chair would introduce or entertain a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to recommend an approval of application PL 23-0260, Avondale General Plan 2030, Major General Plan Amendment Update, subject to staff's recommendations as outlined in the staff report with a couple exceptions. The Las Ligas neighborhood remained the same as R1 zoning. And then the Gardner property, we would also leave that as is already in the previous general plan.
Is there a second?
Through the chairman and our attorney, I need to make a clarification. This process does not change zoning on land. So the recommendation would need to be what land use do you want designated for Las Ligas? And for clarification, the R16 zoning won't go away. That's been there for many, many years. It's for properties around 6,000 square feet in size, which is what's generally built there. So the closest land use for what's existing is the medium density residential. For your recommendation of a motion of wanting to go to a higher density residential would not align with the R16 that's there. And so separately, we wouldn't be rezoning that Las Ligas neighborhood. It'll stay R16. That's what's entitled, and that's how it's been developed with that zoning.
And that would be my intent, is to keep it the same. No changes made to that. Leave it as is. Which is the medium to low density?
Through the chairman and commissioner, it's currently rural density, which does not conform to the R16 zoning on the land, which is why the city's recommending medium density residential as the next level category to get close to what that zoning is. They don't necessarily have to match, but that's the closest to what's there today.
Okay. Then I will strike that request then.
Okay, so the motion has failed for lack of a second. Can you clear her? Thank you. So we are still able to take a motion.
Commissioner Castillo, make a motion to recommend approval of application PL-23-0260, Avondale General Plan 2030 Major General Plan Amendment update subject to staff's recommendations as outlined in the staff report.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Osborne, I second.
Commissioner Osborne has seconded. Please vote.
Commissioner Osborne?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. And that concludes our public hearing items for the evening. Are there any announcements from commission members? Does the planning manager have any items to report?
Good evening, commissioners, and thank you for your service this evening. I just wanted to add that we do not so far have any items planned for the December Planning Commission meeting, so we anticipate that we will be canceling that. So the next time we see you won't be until the new year. So we wish you all a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you. Same to the staff. And I will now announce that our next scheduled meeting is January 17th, 2023.
2024.
Actually, 2024.
2024. Ariana, you got me. Okay, I would now ask for a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Castillo, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Castillo and a second by Commissioner Warren. Please vote. Commissioner Osborne?
Aye.
And the motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, guys.